Welcome to Defeat Your Cravings, hosted by Dr. Glenn Livingston, PhD. Glenn has held his doctorate in psychology for more than 30 years and is also a former multi-million-dollar consultant to the big food industry and uses his experience to help you defeat your cravings. This show will help you to focus on dramatically reducing cravings and leave the diet mentality behind, so you can more easily and effortlessly achieve your health, fitness, and body composition goals. Please remember, no doctor-patient relationship is created via this show, and you are responsible for confirming any changes to your diet, health, or psychological routines with an appropriately licensed professional before implementing them. Now, before we get started, if you haven't yet downloaded the free smartphone app to access dozens of these recordings all in one place, as well as to avail yourself of a confidential community for support, motivation, and assistance, please visit the podcast link on defeatyourcravings.com as soon as possible. And now, here's your host, Dr. Glenn Livingston.
Well, hey, this is the very good Dr. Glenn Livingston, and I am here with a kind-hearted woman named Lindsay, who has agreed to share her trials and tribulations and stumbles and falls, as well as her successes and wisdom and experience and hope and enthusiasm, so that you can benefit from all of the above. How are you, Lindsay?
Doing well today. Thanks, Glenn.
Can you tell me a little bit about your story? Then maybe you can tell me what happened when you found us and how it can help.
Okay. I'm pretty new to you. I'm in your current intensive, so I don't have too much under my belt, but I'm kind of struggling with a couple things. But my background is grew up pretty average weight, but compared to my family, I was always told, well, I'm just really heavy because I am really muscular. And I was always compared to my sister who's super skinny. I remember in junior high, my dad said how much he weighed, and I weighed the exact amount. And my dad is very small and very short, but for someone in junior high who's super insecure, I was really triggered by that. So I remember even before junior high, every year I would write in my journal that I had this one goal weight that I wanted to be. And it was kind of like an idea, but I never took root in actually making that happen. And then college happened where I ended up gaining quite a bit of weight and was at my heaviest and went to Weight Watchers and found a lot of success there, got to my goal weight. And then once I was done with that, I kind of gained it all. Well, not all of it back, but probably half of it back.
How much weight are we talking about?
We're not talking about a ton, but to me, it was pretty dramatic. So I remember my exact weight. I don't know if that's helpful on here. I don't want to trigger people. But it was how much I weighed when I was fully pregnant with my children. So I would say from my goal weight until my heaviest was about 30 pounds.
Gotcha. Fair enough. That can be a very big difference in terms of quality of life and confidence and self-esteem and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I didn't fit in my clothes and I didn't feel like myself. And so the combination was realizing I just wanted to feel more like myself. So it was nice when I reached my goal with Weight Watchers and got to a better spot. But I think even at that point, I realized that it's kind of like, oh, well, once you reach that, you're good. You can just forget it all now. And I think I've basically had that mindset ever since. I have 10 vanity pounds on me right now. And I know that they're from when I'm stressed out or emotional, I eat. And I know that that's where it comes from because I'm healthy otherwise. By all means, like I'm really healthy, I'm really in shape, but I just really struggle with wanting to look how I feel, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So part of me thinks it's silly to lose 10 pounds when I'm in a healthy weight. And I feel like anyone who saw me would not be concerned. So I have been a huge fan of intuitive eating. And I think part of the reason I like intuitive eating is because, again, it's kind of like this magic pill where it's like, oh, once I figure it out, then I'll be fine. Even this morning, as I was thinking about talking to you today, I realized that I kind of want my cake and eat it too. I want to be able to do whatever I want and have it not affect me. And I'm just realizing that that's my 12-year-old mindset that I've continued for many years.
Did you ever see the movie Defending Your Life?
No. Should I write that down?
Yeah. It's just for the beginning of the movie where it's about people at a waiting station as they're about to get into heaven and they have to defend their lives and prove that they didn't succumb to fear and all that. But while you're there, you can eat whatever you want to and it doesn't affect you physically. It was just a perfect portrayal of that dream, overeater's dream. I don't know if it actually exists, but
Well, and I think there's been people in my life who are really thin, including my husband. He eats a bunch of ice cream in the morning. He'll have a bunch of other stuff, but he's a bike racer. So he races bikes and he'll ride 30 miles super fast. So he burns so much that it doesn't stick to him. But in my mind, it's like it feels unfair.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You wish that you could just eat intuitively and eat whatever you wanted to, but not have it stick to you. You'd like to have your cake and eat it too. About realization, what's the implication?
I think it's just realizing like that's just not going to work and it's not reality. And so it's kind of depressing, kind of sad. And then it makes me question, well, is it really that bad to be where I'm at, or should I just enjoy where I'm at? The goal weight I had in junior high, I still have it in my head. And I've been there before, but only for short periods of time. It's a total reasonable amount of weight. It's nothing extreme at all.
You would be at a normal BMI if you got to your goal weight. You wouldn't be too thin.
Yeah, the normal range.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think when you weigh out the dream versus what you have to do to get there? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Do you really want to go for that or no?
I think if you could promise me that I would get to that spot and I knew 100% it would work, then I'm in. I think my fear is it's not going to work because you tried it before. And I realize I love how you say, go slow. You don't have to lose a bunch of weight at once and just fill yourself with a lot of nutrition with a small caloric deficit. I feel like that is the best advice I've ever been given my whole life. And I think it's really true. And there was a time when I was eating all whole foods. And I've done that for the most part for probably a few years, but I usually add in chips or rice because gluten doesn't do good for me. But I'll add in little things here and there because I convinced myself that I need them. And yet I'm realizing that if I eat all whole foods, it actually comes off. When I found out I lost 5 pounds in a month, I was so disappointed that I was like, oh, and then I swung the other way. When in reality, that was exactly where I should have been because I started at the same way I am now, and doing something like that would totally work. But in my mind, it feels like nothing's going to work.
So you have the evidence that if you ate whole foods, you lose about a pound a week, 5 pounds a month, more or less?
Yes.
You have the evidence, but your pig says that it won't work.
So it's basically following Whole30. The other implication is not only will it not work, but I won't be able to sustain it, nor should I. And so there's like this weird push-pull there.
Why couldn't you sustain it, and why shouldn't you sustain it?
Well, Whole30 makes this big deal that this should never be forever. And yet when I did it for a month or two, I actually got in my rhythm of eating plenty of calories, having enough energy, but not eating too much. But it was like this idea that they say, this is not living. You need to figure out your own kind of way to live. And I started missing out on a couple things here and there. To swing us back to that first question is, your program, I feel like, gives me the permission to kind of head in a direction of intuitive eating, head in a direction of this Whole30 kind of idea, but kind of have some handrails at the same time. And so I've been following my food rules for the most part. And yet I added a food rule and it just kind of seemed to trigger me.
Do you want to talk about your food plan? Do you want to go over that together and see if we can find something that you could sustain that will get you where you want to go?
Yeah, that would be helpful.
What's the food plan now, and what was the rule that triggered you?
Okay, so it's I'll never eat sugar again except for fruit. I'll never eat flour again. I will never eat cheese again. And I will never eat gluten again. And then the rule that I've had on it that triggers me is I will never go back for seconds unless I did a big workout. And I put rode 30 miles or more or ran more than 10 miles. And I think what happens is when I eat more whole foods, I'm more hungry. And so I feel like I'm not getting enough food. Like last night, there was chips out. And so I had more chips than I really needed. So this rule, I feel like, gets me kind of stuck because I work out probably 6 days a week. And so I know that there's some days where I'm just hungrier, but I don't know if it's hunger or the pig.
So if we draw a big hairy red X through that last rule,
Uh-huh.
and we forget about that, and you just have no sugar, flour, cheese, or gluten, how will you get in trouble with food? What will stop you from accomplishing your goal weight and maintaining it? If those are the only things you did forever, how could you get in trouble?
Rice cakes, tortilla chips, maybe French fries.
Okay. So fatty, starchy things, fatty, starchy, salty things. What if you had something in place that would help you regulate the volume of those things?
I think that would be helpful. I just didn't know how to do that part. I think I was getting to that spot with my coach, but we hadn't gotten there yet, but I was kind of ready to get there.
So what role would you like chips to play in your life?
Well, part of me wishes I never wanted them ever, but I do. We eat a lot of Mexican food. And so I feel like without the chip, you miss out.
How many chips per week or per day would you like to have? Where you'd still be able to accomplish your goal and feel satisfied like a human being, but you wouldn't be overdoing it.
My mind goes to 30,
Okay.
but I don't know if that's way too much because I think of a serving as like 10 and that just feels like not enough. Well, maybe a serving's more like 12 or 13 then.
I don't know anybody that eats 10 potato chips.
Right.
So if you had 30 chips, is that a week or a day?
Well, I was thinking a day, but I don't know that that will help me accomplish my goals.
Probably about 350 calories and a bunch of oil. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So that might stop you with your goal. I'm not sure.
Okay. I know I say that I will never eat sugar again, but I really like the caramel rice cakes. I don't know if it's a cheat. It's like a half cheat. And so part of me feels like if I had the choice of either 30 chips in the day or 2 rice cakes with peanut butter on it, or like a cup of rice, I get one of those choices per day.
Okay. So 30 chips, 2 rice cakes and peanut butter, or a cup of rice. So what you're really going to do is you're going to enumerate a list of treats and you're going to enumerate the serving size of those treats. And you're going to say you get 1 treat per day, right?
Yep.
You can do that afterwards. I trust you to do that.
Okay.
So you get 1 treat per day. And are the caramel rice cakes on that list of treats or no?
Yes.
Okay. You'll never have sugar again except for whole fruit and caramel rice treats.
Okay. That's how you say it.
Yeah, that's one way I might say it. But then I'd have a rule that said I'll never have more than 1 treat per day. And the treat is defined as 30 chips or 2 rice cakes with peanut butter or 2 caramel rice cakes or however you're going to do it. Lindsay, I might spend an afternoon with chronometer.com or a nutritionist and just figure out if your overall calories and nutrition will accomplish your goal.
Okay.
Might be you get half a treat per day or a treat every other day. I don't know. Maybe you can do it like this. I don't really know. That's my guess. When you were doing it like this before, was that when you lost the 5 pounds a month?
That's when I did Whole30 completely. But I don't like potatoes. So I would eat potatoes because I needed some sort of carbs and salt, but I didn't enjoy my food.
This is just a guess because I'm not a dietitian, but from having worked with people, I'm guessing that you might not lose weight with 1 treat per day the way you're defining it. I just want to give you some options. You could experiment. You could start like this, and if the weight doesn't come off, then change. You could have 1 treat per day, but you have to skip every 3rd day, right? You could try doing that and see if that drops things down a little bit. So Monday, Tuesday, you have a treat, and then Wednesday you don't, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or skip every 4th day or something like that. And you could titrate that until the nutrition gets to where you need it to be to get to your goal and keep it there.
Yep. Okay.
What would it mean to you to achieve your goal at this time and know that you're going to be able to maintain it? Only you can promise you that you can do that, by the way. I can't promise you can do that. I don't see why you can't.
Okay. It would mean a lot. I think since I was at that weight before, it's like I finally felt like myself. And so being 10 pounds heavier than that, it just doesn't totally feel like myself. So I think it would mean a lot to feel more comfortable in my clothes and feel like I'm accomplishing something that I've wanted to have consistently for 30 years.
Give yourself a real gift.
Yes.
When you feel like yourself, if I followed you around for the day, what would I see that was different than how things are now?
I think I wouldn't try to cheat myself with food or like find a way to go around things, but just kind of own it. That it's like, if I want to be at that weight, I can't stuff my face with Cheetos every day. Like that doesn't work. I think I would also be calmer and maybe more relaxed and more enjoyable and not be annoyed when my husband eats ice cream every morning. Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm annoyed that your husband eats ice cream every morning, so I don't know about that, but I'm just kidding. It's great he can do that. You'd be calmer and more relaxed and more present. You'd really accept the way that you need to be. You'd make healthier choices.
Mhm.
And as a result of being calmer and more relaxed and making healthier choices and fitting more comfortably into your clothes, what would happen in your life?
I think I'd be more successful with friends and relationships and even work wise. It's almost like fitting in my clothes feels like I'd fit in my own skin.
Hmm.
And I think the idea that I've tried to do this for so long would feel like, okay, I'm finally in my real body.
What happens if you let the pig win and you just give up on this goal? Not this year, but like in 5 years, if you just give up on the goal.
I've considered giving up many times, but I think if that's the case, I don't know if I will always maintain where I'm at now. And most likely, if I'm giving up now, then in 10 years, I'm going to give up maybe 10 more pounds in 10 years and then 20 pounds and really not feel like myself.
Gotcha. So you'd lose yourself.
Yes, I would.
Why does the pig say that you can't or shouldn't or won't do this?
There's a lot of chatter, but it's hard to hear it, like a lot of mumbling. Part of me feels like I should just be content with where I'm at. So that's, I think, really the pig. And people know you as a certain way in this one way. And so you should keep up with their expectations. Or they might think less of you if you got where you really wanted to be. Or maybe they would get jealous of you. And I hate when people are jealous of me. It's probably my least favorite thing.
People will be jealous of you.
Uh-huh.
And the pig says you can't let that happen, so you have to break the rules now.
Yeah. I think I eat for other people a lot of times because I'm afraid they will feel bad.
Why else does the pig say? Give me one more reason the pig says that you can't or shouldn't or won't do this.
Because everybody else is eating chips.
Well, in the interest of time, let's just look at these three squeals, okay?
Okay.
So the pig says you should really be content where you are. 10 pounds is not that bad. Just give in and be happy with it. So let's break these rules and binge now. What's the problem with that thinking? Where's the lie in that?
I'm still in the normal weight. I'm not doing anything wrong by wanting to look my best. If I listen to the pig, then I'm going in the opposite direction. It doesn't mean it's static.
So if you break the rules, then you're going to slowly but surely lose yourself. It might take a long time. It might take 10 years, but you won't recognize yourself in 10 years.
Right?
And you're entitled to feel confident and you're entitled to feel like yourself, right?
Yes.
Pig says that other people are going to be too jealous. They're used to you with a certain set of expectations. They're going to be too upset if you get thinner and more confident. Therefore, you need to break the rules and binge now. What's the problem there?
Well, I think it really highlights their insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
Taking on everybody else's feelings is me losing myself again rather than just choosing to be me.
A healthy person who wanted a healthy relationship with you would feel inspired. Lindsay's being a leader. I can follow her. Let me hang around her and become more like her, as opposed to wanting to destroy you, right?
Uh-huh.
Those are the kind of relationships you want in your life, right?
Yes, true.
When the pig says everybody else is eating chips, therefore you should break the rules and binge. What's the problem with that?
Well, if they are, they're probably not trying to lose 10 pounds. It's usually my children who are hungry and growing and need more sustenance. Or it's also a lot of people don't eat chips. And it's just making your choices wisely. So maybe you eat chips, but you don't eat the ice cream or you don't eat the rice.
Right. The way you defined your role, you don't have to give up chips entirely. You need to make a list of treats, and then you need to figure out how often you can have a serving of them according to what a serving is to you, and still lose weight, still get to where you want to go. You don't have to give them up entirely.
True. Yep.
How confident are you that you can follow these rules now?
I think once I map out the treat part, I think I'm 100% confident that I could do it.
Are you going to do that today?
Right after we finish, I'm going to write down the treat part, and then I'm going to calculate it with my fitness pal.
Very good. You'll make your best decision with your best thinking, what's going to get you to your goal. You measure that regularly, weigh in like once a week or so, and make adjustments until you start heading where you want to go.
I like it. Yep. Doesn't have to be 100% right on exactly right the first week. Maybe 25 chips is more reasonable, or maybe 15 is. but just trying to like try something out, see how it is, and then making adjustments.
It's an empirical question. We'll know by the results, right?
Exactly.
And you'll feel more confident right away because it'll be quantified and regulated, and you're not going to be making these spontaneous decisions about the volume.
Right. Yep.
Do you have any questions or concerns?
Well, I just feel bad that I was all over the place. Were you okay?
You had some ambivalence because you weren't quite sure what goal to shoot for. It was difficult for you to give yourself permission to go for the confident goal weight that's going to make you feel best.
Yeah.
And you weren't sure if you'd be able to do that and do it with a lifestyle you'd be comfortable with. So it took us a while to figure out what that was, but then we figured it out. You really zeroed in on what you need to do. So I'm fine.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. I feel a lot clearer. So
that was the point. That's what I wanted to help you with today. So good.
Yeah. Well, I love the work you do, and I'm really glad I found you.
Thank you, dear. I'm glad you're here too. I'm in your corner. Post in the forum. Let me know how you're doing, okay?
All right. Appreciate it. Bye.
And that brings us to the end of today's broadcast of Defeat Your Cravings, hosted by Dr. Glenn Livingston. Now, if you'd like to find out more about the products and services Dr. Glenn offers to help you dramatically reduce your cravings and stop overeating in 90 days or less, please visit defeatyourcravingscoaching.com. That's defeatyourcravingscoaching.com. Thanks.